What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. The day has finally come. We got a new Apollo for you guys. We're going to be unboxing it, assembling it. At the same time though, we're going to do a couple upgrades. This is the first upgrades that I've done, that I'm going to do on this bike, and these are by far my favorite upgrades that I did on my previous bike, the X18. We're immediately, before we even put the tires on the bike, tear the old tires off, put a rim lock in, which we've seen is mandatory, and I see a lot of people having problems with these cutting their tubes, so we'll fix that problem right out of the box. And you guys know how I feel about my Starcross tires, so I got some brand new boys here, and we'll put those on when we put the rim lock on. So put you on a time lapse. We'll get this thing unboxed, uncrated, and we'll lay the parts out and go over everything. Let's do it. This is all the bubble wrap removed, minus under the seat, because you have to take the seat off to get it all out. So I'll do that later. I just need to focus on getting some suspension on it first, so I can get it up off the ground. So a couple things personally, that I see when I initially unpack this thing. I'm kind of upset a little bit with the shipping. Got a gnarly little scuff on the gas tank there. Some of the rubbers around the brake handles and clutch handles are torn up. Nothing too crazy. Zip tie here. Remember in my X18 build-up video, we'll probably end up shortening this to get this kink out of it. This is your crankcase breather. If it's pinched off like that, you're going to start blowing the oil seals and stuff like that. One cool feature that I do see, this is the intake here, so you can rotate it if you'd like to kick it out to the side or whichever side. That's cool. Cool feature. Fuel lines are a little tight. You see this bend in the fuel line there. Probably have to shorten it and get rid of that. That'll cut off our fuel. Overall, it looks like a really nice bike. I see that they upgraded the color match spokes. That's cool. So yeah, that's what it looks like when it comes straight out of the crate. So let's go up to the table and look at all our parts we have. So we got the front fender, shock, forks. They took on a little damage in shipping as well. Not too happy about that, but it is a dirt bike, so probably not gonna cause too much of a fuss about that. Fuel tank shrouds, and then the back, the rear plastics here. Handlebar risers, comes with some hardware. The front axle, one foot peg. They keep one on there, I'm not sure why. Gas cap. So the toolkit, that'll go in the trash. Assembly manual, throw that in the trash. Shifter lever. This will be your parts for securing the front brake cable, or brake hose. Looks like this piece will just, I don't know, we'll figure that out when we get there. Nice handlebar pad, that's cool, that's a nice upgrade. Get away from the straight bar across the old skull getter. Front number plate. This is different to me. Never seen this. This is your brake lever. For the rear brake. So you just don't quite fit in the crate, so they had to make it so that'll bolt on down there. So, and some miscellaneous hardware. Alright, I need to get that on that by myself. In on it here. Just be careful since the rear shock isn't on here, back will fall. Alright, first we're going to do our rear shock here, and it's going to mount in there. And see if I can get a good picture of it up here. So go ahead and grab that shock. Loctite's going to be our best friend on this project. Make sure you guys use it, because these bolts will back out on you. So go ahead and grab the shock and start on that. Okay. We got our shock here. We'll put the adjuster on top, and we're going to grab our 2 bolts. Bolt heads are 13mm and the nuts are 14mm. We'll be using the Permatex blue Loctite for everything we put together. Head, just gonna slide in behind here. I'm gonna have Steven here lift up on the back tire, because as you can see, our rear shock, see when you just lift up on that, it just lines itself up. So with this bike being pretty unstable right now, just have him hold it for me. Alright, a little bit up. Nope, down. Alright, with the rear shock installed, we're ready to install the forks. The brake caliper, one has a bracket down here for the brake caliper. That's going to go on the left hand side of the bike as you sit on it. And if you notice, there's some lines around the top of this fork here. Those are different adjustment points. I always set mine to the first one, so we'll slide it up in here and go to just this first line right here, the very top one. So I did notice, if I bring the camera in a little bit, there's these tabs right here. That's holding the fork spread apart, or the triple clamp there, spread apart for you so you can get these in easier. So once we slide them in, we'll go ahead and take these out and run these bolts down. These bolts will get Loctite. There's 2 here and 1 up on the top. We will Loctite those because they don't have any on them. However, I have noticed that they did pretty good with thread locker on this bike, so as far as engine mounts go and stuff like that. So we'll slide this up here. Just give it the old dick twist a little bit and push up, and we'll stop when that first line is just at the top of your upper triple clamp there. So we'll stop it right there. Don't worry about too much about the bottom. These things spin, so you can line it up. So we'll pull this shim out of here, and that should stay by itself. These bolts and apply some thread locker. Oh, blue juice. Same thing, just slide it up just to the top line there. Pop the shim out and it'll hold it for me. Alright, next up is the handlebar risers. They will sit up here like this, secured on with 4 bolts that go up through, and we will Loctite these as well. It's always Miller time. Cheers. China. Ooh, we're getting there. Do away with the Chinese handlebars. These are the, if you've seen them in my X18 video, these are the ones I had on that. These are the XR50s. The Apollo has a 1 1/8 inch handlebar down at the base. So we have to get these risers, or these
Holdy boys.
Holdy boys. We gotta get the Holdy boys in there to make up, because these are 7/8 inch and they won't fit right. So with these Holdy boys, these Pro Tapers should bolt right up. So we're gonna do it. For the caps for these are the Allen bolts included in your kit. And they have a stripe of blue Loctite on them already from the factory. For our front fender in here.
What are those?
Whatever this thing is. Right in this strip bolt hole from the factory. Upgrade package of strip bolts. There's a bolt that's loose up here, and your ignition switch. Clickety clack.
The tower's back.
Will mount here, and there's 2 bolts for your number plate. These upper ones will mount in here with your ignition switch, and these lower ones will fit down on these titties. Yeah. Now we're in there. Next we'll put on our single foot peg. Comes like this. Only one of them comes off the bike. Comes with this spring. It's got a big box in portion, and then one straight piece. The straight piece is going to hook onto the bike. You're going to take your peg, and it's going to sit right on top of this raised portion. Your spring's going to go in there. Just wrap around the peg like that. And if we get a little closer, it's going to take some force, but you got to the pin or washer in this washer. So what you got to do is kind of just put the peg down and let that spring bite into the frame there. You just put some pressure on it. Get it to line up and push it all the way through. That way if you hit like a stump or something, these pegs are designed to fold back and not screw up your frame. So underneath we'll put the washer. Make sure it's all the way down so you can get your cotter pin in there. And shove your cotter pin in. Just like that. The peg's good. Now we can go to our brake lever here. It's just gonna, you'll have a nut welded on the inside there, and it's just a standard bolt that goes through. We'll definitely use it Loctite on this. That's kind of a terrible design. What if your bolt falls out and you're in the middle of a trail and you don't have no brake? Next is our shifter. It's just a bolt that goes through it, and it threads into itself, goes on these splines here. I'm gonna probably not Loctite this yet, as I have to adjust it to my foot. Bam, shifting gears. While we're over here, your front brake caliper, you see the same thing kind of with the forks. It has this plastic piece in the center. That's got to come out. That's just keeping those pads spaced out so you can fit your brake rotor on there and in between the pads. So before you put your tire on, make sure to pull that out. Right now, it probably can only go on one way, but make sure your bleeder's got to go on. That's got to be the highest point. So. And I want to run this in front of the number plate. Alright, since I use my Pro Taper bars, I'm going to take a second and transfer all these controls over to the Pro Taper bars and get that all squared away. Okay, I left my levers loose so I could adjust them to my likings. Pretty much everything up here is ran the way I want it. So I'll adjust those once I get the bike down and finished up. So we're going to move on to the brake cable right here. It's designed to fit in this tab here. And also in your box you should have had this plastic cap with a couple screws. And that's going to fit right here on the front of your fork guard there. So what we need to do is get this in this tab first, like so. And then we're going to route this right in here and put our cap on it and screw it down. Cool. Alright, before I go any further, I'm going to swap our new tires on, and then we can go ahead and put the body on and everything, start it up. So I'm going to do that now. I'll put you on time lapse because this stuff's boring, but check it out. Okay, I gotta stop and give props to Apollo. This thing is much better built than my X18 was when I was putting it together. A lot of stuff's Loctite, a lot better engineering going on, and I think they kind of listened to the complaints that people were having with those bikes, and they incorporated those complaints or the remedies for them in the Z20s. One reason being, a lot of the Apollos were having problems with, pinching tubes because there was no rim lock. Well, they did put a rim lock in there. So props to them for doing that. That's cool. But I already ordered another one, actual name brand Motion Pro one. So I'm going to continue putting this new tire on with the aftermarket Motion Pro rim lock, just because I feel better about it instead of it being Chinese. So we'll keep going and we'll get these new tires mounted up. Okay, we got the new tires on it. One thing I want to do while I have the tire off, which you can do it on the bike too, but I'm going to do it since it's right here. I've seen these sprocket bolts back out so many times, and then you start hearing a squeak on your bike, and it's the bolt backing out, digging into your swing arm there. So I'm going to do a little better job of crimping down these locking features, just so that never happens. Okay, I'm going to show you guys this back wheel. The shorter spacer goes on the brake side, the longer spacer goes on the chain side. I pulled this out and I noticed there's no grease on it, so we'll go ahead and grease this up. Okay, we'll go ahead and the front axle came in the kit, so this should have been in your parts box. Go ahead and grease this axle up. Don't forget to pull this shim out of between your brake pads. Looks like the longer one's going to go on the brake side. Okay, in the beginning of the video, this hose was all kinked up. Remember me talking about that? It's just way too long. If I keep it hooked up back here, it's so close to the chain. So I'm just gonna make it long enough to get to where it needs to go and run it. Okay, another thing I want to do before I put the plastics on and make things harder than what they are, I'm gonna pull the air filter out of here and oil it. Oil traps all the dirt before it hits. It goes down into your intake. So you got to keep your air filters oiled just to trap anything, keep from destroying your engine. So I'll take, they really kind of make this hard to get to. A lot of people run the paper filters. I'm not a fan. Not a fan of them. Always run foam filters. And this is the air filter that comes stock with it. I'll probably upgrade it at some point. I want to give the whole air box thing a try. Big bikes use them, so this is pretty cool that they incorporated an actual air box now. So we'll give it a shot. We'll see how it works. This just splits in two. Air filter comes out. We'll give this thing a good oil. Looks like there's already probably some oil on there, but we'll oil it some more before it gets dirty. What I'm using is stuff I use on my YZ PJ1 foam filter. You can get it at Motorsport. And don't go crazy with it, just spin your hair. Just give it a little spray. Okay, so back to the front wheel. I had to do some fabrication to the front left fork guard to accommodate those tires that I put on it. No big deal, but I'm ready to tighten everything up there. This is a method that people use in the big bike world because those forks can be sitting on your axle crooked. Something you can do is just put your axle through and your nut on it, but just roll the bike forward and slam on your front brakes and compress those forks, and that'll line everything up. Just do it a few times. that'll line everything up. And you can go back and tighten it up. Alright, I took the carburetor off the bike, and you'll notice this is your air screw here. And it's got a cap covering the adjustment screw. So there's no way to adjust this carburetor. Same way they got anti-tamper screws in here. Those can be drilled out if you need to clean your carburetor, but I'm not worried about it since it's new right now. I'll cross that bridge when it gets here, but I do want to try to make the stock carburetor work if I can. So this is just a cap in here, so I'm going to try to get this cap out so I can get access to that screw up there. So I'll just take a punch and punch right in the center of it, so my drill bit will bite in the right spot, right in the center of it. I'll take a drill bit, and we're just going to try to drill this thing out. So you hear it? You heard that? That means I'm through. Now I'm into the screw, so I'm going to stop. Just like that. So now we have full adjustment of our carburetor. So I'll slap this back on the bike. Actually, I want to see what it's sitting at right now. 1/2, 3/4 of a turn out. I'll start there. I'm going to start at 1 turn out. See where that gets us. So if we need to back it out more, now we have the adjustment to do so. So get this back on the bike and let's fire it up for the first time. We're going to gas her up. See what happens. About 75, 77 degrees today, so we shouldn't need a choke, but I don't see any leaks, so fire it up and see what happens. Make sure it's in neutral. And the ignition switch is on. Take it for a test ride.
Sounds like my Honda.
Alright, so first thing I don't like is the long kickstand. I'll be making all my comparisons against the X18 that I had, and that kickstand, you could like kickstart it still on the kickstand, but let's check it out. Turning radius, wow. My X18, you could just like lay it over, but I'm struggling now. Yeah, the wheels don't turn as sharp as the X18. The ball there, I had to adjust it out. the bog actually. Got to do some tuning on that carb. See how it does with wheelies. Bogging real good. Yeah. Alright, I'll tell you that first gear is pretty much worthless on this bike. I'll demonstrate that real quick. First gear. We didn't move probably 15 feet, we already had to shift. So, man, I gotta fix that bog. But second gear, I'll probably never use first gear. We'll try some wheelies out. This bike feels a lot heavier than the X18 for sure. The X18 would come right up, stand up with you. Feels so much like front heavy. I just got to get used to it. This is my first time riding it, so I'm sure in no time it'll feel just like the X18 did. I gotta fix that bog for sure. It's kind of bogging out. Hey, the Michelin Star crosses though. All the grip. Overall, first impressions, it's a nice bike. Rides well, pulls well. Little bog, as you guys seen in the video. That'll get worked out. I did make some adjustments on the air screw, and from no throttle to quarter throttle is great, but it's just when it's in the in the higher RPMs, getting that bog. So that would be an adjustment on our needle. Raising or lowering the clip on the needle, but unfortunately this carburetor only has one notch, so there is no adjustment for that. So I'm gonna have to buy an upgraded carburetor, which I have one already. I just need to put it on, so that'll be in my upgrades video coming out soon. So be on the lookout for that. A couple other things. Personally, right now at this point, I think I like my X18 better than I do the Z20. The steering's better. Handles better, a little bit more, it's not as heavy, so a little bit more, seems like a little bit more power to get the front wheel up, but maybe it'll grow on me, I'm not sure. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hopefully I helped you out and showed you some things to make this process a little bit more easier on you, but make sure you hit subscribe below. Be on the lookout for the upgrade videos coming soon. We'll catch you on the next one, guys. Peace.